I can tell you right now, looking at the radar return, yeah, if you're going anywhere and that line of storms is approaching your area, you might want to kind of
Not mine. You definitely want to wait.
You want to wait it out just a little bit because again the line is moving eastward at 50 miles per hour, so it's going to be in. It is going to be out. But again, I would not want to be driving through that line of storms because this line of storms is mean. We're talking heavy rain. We're talking cloudy ground lightning. We're talking the potential for gusty winds. So not only are we talking about rain causing impacts to driving, but wind. If you've ever been driving a high-profile vehicle and got caught up in some wind, it ain't fun.
It's not.
So you don't, and then let's combine that with rain.
Yes.
So wet roadways. You do hydroplaning. You do not want to deal with that. So my best advice to you: if you've got to get out and this line is close to moving through your area, wait till it moves through. If you're ahead of that line and you got to go somewhere, if you can get there before that line gets there, by all means. But yeah, you need to seek shelter. Do not go anywhere because again, this line looking mean. Vernon's got a track on it right now showing some of the locations that are going to be impacted in the next little bit.
Right. Durham, the Bull City, you're dealing with the heaviest rainfall now, really getting into your area. For Raleigh, let's put it right around 7:30, so about 10 minutes from now. For folks in the Wake Forest community, you're going to be just shortly behind it as well. Really, this is just a nasty line. You're talking about a lot of lightning. That's a prolific amount of lightning. But then this entire line is more than 1,000 lightning strikes. So you're dealing with the lightning threat, you're dealing with the rain threat, you're dealing with the damaging wind threat. Whatever you have to do in the next 45 minutes in Raleigh in the Triangle, it better be worth it if you're going there. I highly advise get inside as you're dealing with this line moving through because, yes, you might say, well, I can drive through the rain, I'll take it slow. But what about if those strong winds come down and it knocks down a tree and knocks down a power line? What can you do then? You know, folks in Raleigh can't drive when it's dry and sunny. What do you think is going to happen when you're still dealing with a severe warm storm? So I know folks, once again, say that 1,000 times, especially with Amy with the traffic report in the morning, folks can't drive out here. So if they can't drive when it's dry and sunny, why are you going to get on the road with the other drivers when you're dealing with a severe storm moving through? Just stay inside. We care about your safety. These storms will go by relatively quickly. And thankfully, behind this main line, the weather calms down pretty drastically. So just allow these storms to pass, and then you can carry along with your Monday evening plans there.
Yeah, if we can pull up Max 5 right now, I want to go through all the warnings that we're dealing with right now. So this is the first warning, and this is, that's interesting. Hang on a second. The wrong warning came up. Let me clear that off. Let's see here. We've got the warning for Robeson County. That's in effect until 7:45 this evening. We've got the warning that's in effect for parts of Cumberland County and Harnett County. It's a severe thunderstorm warning, and Hope County that's in effect until 8 o'clock this evening. And also until 8 o'clock this evening, Durham County, Southern Granville County, Franklin County, all of Wake County, all of Johnston County under a severe thunderstorm warning. Again, this line moving eastward at 50 miles per hour. The main severe threat with this line is the possibility of strong damaging winds in excess of 58 miles per hour, though some of these cells are capable of producing wind gusts maybe up to 70 miles per hour. Not to mention, like we said, this thing's really ramped up the cloud-to-ground lightning in just the last little bit. So my fear is we may end up with a lot of issues with lightning strikes. We also have the possibility of hail, though to our knowledge, there's not been any reports of hail with this line as it's moved through. And there's that outside, well, actually, let me drop the whole flooding thing. Yeah, there's a possibility we could see some localized flooding issues. But I'll be honest with you, as fast as this line is moving, I don't think that flooding threat is going to materialize, which is hopefully takes that off the table. But again, just numerous, well, not to mention the possibility that we could see an isolated tornado spin up along that line as well. So the big question is, will this line weaken? Like I said, some of the models try to weaken it, but I will say this, it looks like this thing is really holding together as it makes its way across the Triangle area, hence the reason why we superseded and went over capital tonight. We wanted to keep you advised as this storm moved through some of the most populated areas of our viewing area. So again, Triangle area, Sand Hills getting impacted by this storm activity right now, and especially want to point out the lightning that we are seeing really evolve from Durham down to Lillington. Carrie, my guess is the thunder is nonstop in your area right now, and this storm.
Yeah, we can pull up the Apex camera right now.
We got the So there you go.
If you could pull up, there we go. This is downtown Apex. I mean, stay on this shot long enough, and you can see the flashes of lightning as we're dealing with that heavy rainfall. We actually saw some cars pulled off to the side with the hazard lights on, just saying, hey, you got to take it slow. I'm just going to wait till the heaviest rain moves through. You're just dealing with a lot of lightning. So once again, no need to adjust your TV. The flashes you're seeing, that's not due to your TV. That's due to all the lightning with this storm. So we'll continue to watch that closely as we're dealing with the severe warm storm moving through the Triangle area. We're going to go back to Storm Tracker Doppler radar. If you're just now joining us, we superseded Capitol tonight. Sorry, politics fans, the weather taking the priority right now as we're dealing with a line of severe warm storms moving through pretty much Franklin, southern Granville, Vance County, Durham County, and all the way south to the south through South Carolina. We're really going to be watching that closely. And also, Gary, I've really been watching this closely. There's some storms out of South Carolina tracking northeast, feeding in to the southern flank. So this is going to be an issue not only for, I know for folks in eastern North Carolina, they're probably saying, hey, what about us? These storms are getting stronger as they move through central North Carolina. They're going to hit that boundary layer, get into eastern North Carolina, where temperatures are hotter. There's still enough instability. And we're going to be dealing with these strong storms as we're approaching 9, 10, 11 o'clock for the coastal plains, including the Elizabeth City, Belhaven, Jacksonville, Morehead City, Wilmington area, all up and down eastern North Carolina. This line of storms will be an issue, and we will really have to watch out for some of these storms in South Carolina. They're in line to impact areas like Wilmington. So yes, folks across eastern North Carolina, no, we're not ignoring you. We're just talking about where the storms are now, but we are keeping a close eye on some of these storms out of South Carolina that are in line to impact areas like in Elizabethtown, a Whiteville, and a Wilmington area. So we'll be watching closely. Severe thunderstorm watch continues for much of eastern North Carolina, along with central North Carolina until midnight. So that's why Storm Prediction Center issued that watch for so long, to account for these storms tracking through. But the good news is, Gary, as we expand out, after this main line moves through, weather calms down drastically, and then we can sleep soundly.
Yeah, and we're going to need it after today, right? But I was just noticing when you were pointing out South Carolina, Vernon, that we are seeing the same intensification of lightning with those storms that we've been seeing over North Carolina, especially in the Triangle area right now. As a matter of fact, if we can pull it up, hang on a second, let me actually get it up on Max 5. This is our roof camera here at Spectrum News 1. That is looking at the leading edge of that severe storm. You saw the flash of lightning right there. Again, this camera on our rooftop, right above our heads, as a matter of fact, looking off in a northwestward direction back toward that storm as it's pushing into parts of Wake County, Orange County, and Durham County right now. So we're going to be keeping a close eye on this camera perspective as that line of storms continues to make its way into our area. And you know what, Vernon, if you're good with it, I think we're going to keep going until 8 o'clock.
I ate my Wheaties this morning.
I think we need to do that. So, Javon, our producer, if we can lock and load and keep going until 8 o'clock this evening, let's stay on this line of storms. It is, thank you, sir. It is very concerning to see that line intensifying. It's moving, like Vernon said, over the most populated parts of our viewing area. We're talking parts of Cumberland County, Wake County, Orange County, Durham County, over into Johnston County, Harnett County. So yeah, we just need to stay with this as this line continues to move to the east. And again, we keep getting these tags on these storms where they could be producing winds up to 70 miles per hour. And it's bad enough to have winds from a severe thunderstorm at 58 miles per hour. That's going to do a lot of damage. But if you're talking winds of 70 miles per hour, think about it. 70 mile per hour winds. That's 4 miles per hour less than a Category 1 hurricane. Yeah. So just kind of keep that in mind. It's not the duration of a hurricane, but think of the scale that we're talking about right now. Think about the kind of trees that we have in North Carolina. What do we have? Pine trees. I know, I'm allergic to pine trees. So that's why I live in North Carolina, so I can be allergic all the time. I have allergy issues all the time. But think about how soft that wood is. Yeah. It doesn't take a 70 mile per hour wind gust to break it. But again, when you're talking about trees coming down on things, you're talking about power going out. And again, let me reemphasize reemphasize that once these storms pass, don't let your guard down. There's still the possibility that we could have, well, downed electric lines, trees that are weakened that could fall, things like that. So again, don't let your guard down. Vernon just pointing out, we got a shelf cloud coming in on that camera perspective. The Raleigh camera right here, if you look on the left side of your screen, that's a shelf cloud. What it is, that's a push of air outflow that comes from a thunderstorm, and it develops a cloud, and it is known as a shelf cloud. And a lot of times when we see that, that's a pretty good indication that we got a pretty significant thunderstorm. As a matter of fact, Vernon, I'm going to go move that camera to see if we can see that shelf cloud a little better.
And while he does that, we're going to continue to track the impacts these storms are leaving behind. I showed you earlier, I talked about earlier, the power outages in Chatham County was down to 300. Well, now it's up to 1,400 after those storms moved through. And now in Moore County, we're looking at 4,500 homes without power. So these storms are definitely snapping those pine trees. So they're also leading to power poles being snapped as well. And if we can go back to Max 5, there you go. That's what we're looking at. And I'm going to go ahead and just ask, can we move camera 13 to the weather wall so I can kind of point this out? Because this is definitely what folks are seeing. And I know for some folks, hey, it doesn't take a severe storm to scare them. They just don't like rainfall or thunder or whatnot. The dogs definitely don't like thunder.
But yeah, you're lightning on it too. But yeah, that right there is a mean looking storm. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, exactly. And what we're seeing right now with this shelf cloud moving in, what you're seeing is basically the rain-cooled air on the back end of this and within the storm coming down, but out ahead of it as it moves into a warm area, that warm air lifts up into the storm. So it creates that formation with the clouds. So that's why you kind of see those clouds look like they're hanging. They're hanging like a shelf. So that warm, moist air rises on the front end of the storm, and then on the back end of it, as what we're seeing is that's heavy rainfall in the distance. So that's why oftentimes that rain-cooled air, it rushes out underneath the warm, moist air. So that's why whenever you have a strong or severe storm like we're dealing with today, and you feel that burst of cool air, that's what we call a gust front. That comes in ahead of a nasty storm like we're dealing with today, and then give it about 5-10 minutes after that gust front moves through. Yeah, you're dealing with heavy rainfall and lightning, what we're seeing in Raleigh and the Triangle area. So we'll continue with the severe thunderstorm warning until 8 o'clock. We'll continue with our wall-to-wall coverage because these storms are moving through Raleigh, Durham, the Triangle area, Fayetteville, the Sand Hills, and for folks across eastern North Carolina, those storms are hours away from you, but we're giving you this wall-to-wall coverage so you have the most lead time available to get into a safe location as Gary shows off his photog skills.
Sorry.
Okay, you need some training, Gary.
I do.
Go back. There we go. Rotate. There we go. As we continue along with this.
There's the leading edge.
There's the leading edge. Yeah, there's the leading edge of that severe warning storm. So once again, as I mentioned, yeah, the rain-cooled air, the rainfall cools the air that it falls into, and it rushes outward, and it pushes the warm, moist air up. So that's why you're seeing those clouds hanging. We call that a shelf cloud, a leading edge of a severe warning storm. And we're actually going to go to, we got the
bell tower.
Bell tower. There you go. That is nasty right there.
Good gracious.
Yeah. So once again, you see the few cars in the distance there. I'm pretty sure they're thinking like, yeah, should have listened to Gary and Vern and should have waited till these storms move through. If you have to go out, let it be for a really good reason because you're dealing with bad visibility. You're dealing with pooling along roadways. We all know sections like I-40 near Glenwood Avenue really floods oftentimes with the heavy rainfall like this. And it's just nasty out, you know. There could be power outages. There could be the actual lights out. And Gary, you always love to remind folks about what to do at a four-way stop when the traffic lights go out there.
Yeah, automatically lights out at a intersection with a stoplight, it becomes a four-way stop. Yeah. So yeah, keep that in mind. We saw some video earlier today.
Yeah.
Traffic light out, cars just blowing through it. I don't care if you're coming up to a main road or not. You know, if there's a traffic light there, it becomes a four-way stop. Vernon, I actually pulled up the radar right now. I tell you what, let's switch positions. Let's switch positions. Yeah. So again, here's this line of storms that's making its way across the area. And again, this thing is rocking and rolling when it comes to cloud-to-ground lightning. So that has definitely become more of a concern that we're going to see more lightning strike issues, potentially power outage issues, possible trees hit by lightning, hopefully not homes hit by lightning. But here's the bottom line, too. You hear rumbling thunder? You better get yourself. I'm hearing rumbling thunder right now.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Hey, 5,000 without power in Lee County now.
5,000 without power in Lee County. And I saw something come down from one of our EPs one of our managers. Sorry, Dale.
Wow, you just
I know, I'm in
demoted him.
trouble now. That statewide, almost 200,000 people are without power right now. So that number, unfortunately, is probably going to go up between the wind and the lightning because, again, this is a serious core of lightning that we're seeing on these storms from northern Harnett County, coming across Wake County right now, moving up into Durham County. The lightning does seem to drop off just a little bit as we work our way into the Sandhills. But as Vernon mentioned, too, notice these cells coming together. We're getting some cell merger, and sometimes when we get these cells merging together, you end up with an intensification of storms. And as a matter of fact, once these cells come together, notice that cloud to ground lightning intensifying. So that may mean that these storms are intensifying. So again, watching that for parts of the Sandhills in southeastern North Carolina, because I know you've been watching us from eastern North Carolina right now going, Gary, Vernon, there's nothing going on. Well, guess what? We have got storms heading in our direction, and our director, Dylan, just informed me that we just took a lightning strike here.
We did. I noticed the AC just went out.
So that's the reason my mic cut out.
There you go.
Are we back online? We're back online. All right, then. All right, good deal.
Thankful for generators. There you go. But let's go back out. Javon, you said we had the NC State. There we go. We're back. We're
back online. See, we're also susceptible to the storms, even though we've got all this backup equipment, backup generators.
At least we're inside.
At least we're inside, exactly. Vernon, what did you say that we had?
We have. Let's go back outside real quick because I know a lot of folks. Yeah, they look at the map, they see that, but once again, they want to know seeing it outside. Can we pull up the NC State bell tower camera if that's possible? There we go, because it's just nasty out there. So this is the line of severe storms. We took 2 power outages here in Midtown Raleigh along Atlantic Avenue, and that's the issue across much of Raleigh and Wake County right now, up towards Durham. You're dealing with the nastiest section of the storm is moving through Durham, Wake, Harnett, and soon to be Johnston County. I mean, this is.
Hey, go to our live camera. Go to our roof camera right now. Hang on a second.
What's that? Oh my goodness.
That's a lightning. That's a power. We've had a lightning strike in that area.
There we go.
Looks like you can see that
pull
flashing.
Up Max 5.
Yeah, go to Max 5. Go to Max 5. Go to Max 5. Okay, Max 5. Notice. I'm going to camera. I'm going to camera 13.
Camera 13.
Notice right here. We up on 13. There you go. Notice right in here.
That might be a fire.
I mean, that could be a fire from a lightning strike.
Yeah, that might be fire.
I mean, that's literally my guess. Actually, you know what I bet that was? I bet that was probably a power line. And finally the transformer or the breaker let go.
Blue, yeah.
But what you were seeing is we took a power hit. I'm assuming we're on backup generator right now.
Exactly. Well, we see why we took a power hit right
and
there.
that's the reason why right there.
Oh, there it goes. Wow.
Well, we're still getting, and that right there is a perfect example.
I'm going to zoom in on it.
Of how, you could see a line down and think that maybe this line is not energized. Well, guess what? That line is definitely energized. The lightning, the electricity dropped away, the color of it dropped away, and it looked like it may have de-energized. Well, guess what? It's not. So again, this, by the way, is on Hodges Street. We're on Atlantic Avenue. You go past the station, you take a right on Hodges Street, and this is where that is right now. There's a walkway, there's a greenway that walks through that area, goes through that area. As a matter of fact, we have a lot of flooding issues that happen at Hodges and Atlantic Avenue because of the Crabtree Creek that runs through that area that floods from time to time. So it looks like this is more than likely a power line that has taken some kind of lightning strike or something like that. But what's interesting, Vernon, is it looks like it's low to the ground, so it may be on the ground.
And that's dangerous too because there's train tracks right behind there too. I mean, I'm not sure where it fell on, but that's definitely an alarming situation. That's something that power crews are going to have to be on to shut off power because I mean, there's a lot of trees and debris back there. We definitely don't want a fire to be started there as well. So that is something that we definitely watch, and just one of the several damage reports, this one caught in real time from these storms. As Gary, you go.
I'm curious, Vernon. I want to see if what the intersection looks like at Hodges and Atlantic right now.
Okay.
Just for the very simple fact, I'm wondering. Let me back the camera out. There we go.
There we go. This is a nasty line.
Yeah, I can't really see the intersection.
No, it doesn't look.
Yeah, I
too
can't
bad.
see the intersection itself for the trees.
So that's okay. Ooh, that is nasty. All right, let's.
There is still power within that area.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know.
That is because that is right beside the Crabtree Creek Walkway. Because you said Hodges Street. Yeah, that's right there, right in between Crabtree Creek Trail. Gosh.
And I will say this, at one point I was a little concerned that this might be an emergency vehicle light, but as I look at it, it's more erratic.
Yeah.
It's very erratic, so I would seriously doubt that that would be an emergency vehicle, that it does look like potentially a electric line that is down, because again,
Yeah, it keeps
went
going
out
in and
just
out.
like that. Yeah, exactly. Now, that's amazing. That is amazing, but that is a very good example of what we're probably seeing in other parts of the area as this line of strong to severe storms continues to make its way through the region. Because again, we're on backup generator right now. So yeah, power is out within our area currently. Though once you look past Hodges, there is power out there. Now again, some of that could be backup generators as well.
Yeah, the question is like going west towards Wake Forest Road. Do they have power towards Costco and over there by Planet Fitness off of Wake Forest and the Wegmans area? That will be the key. Say that again. Or I'm just talking to you.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the camera back in position.
There we go. So once again, folks, if you're just now joining in, we likely caught a power line or some damage just near Hodges Street in Raleigh as we're dealing with this severe line moving through. We see the flashes of light go off, are now off. So hopefully, ooh, that was a nice lightning strike right there.
Oh, it was, yeah, definitely.
Wow. So we're going to continue to watch this camera real quick for the next, as long as these storms are continuing to move through.
Yeah.
But let's go back to Max 3 real quick. Just get a good lay of the land. The storms to the south of the triangle weakening a bit, but don't let that fool you. They're still rather strong, producing some heavy rain and strong winds and lightning. And we're really watching the southern end of the line down into South Carolina because they're in line to impact Wilmington and the rest of southeastern North Carolina later on this evening over the next 2 to 3 hours. So we'll continue to watch this closely. Once again, if you're just now tuning in, severe thunderstorm warning continues for Wake, Durham, Franklin, Johnson County until 8 o'clock. That also includes Granville County as well as we continue along with things. And we're also watching a line of severe storms, that warning for Harnett, Cumberland, Hoke, and Robeson County until 8 o'clock as well. So we'll continue to watch those storms. I think we have more on our camera there. And you know what, Gary, you suggested to make sure to put a new camera on top of our roof, and you know what? It paid off.
This camera has earned its keep.
Yeah.
I mean, we have caught so many incredible things on this. Hang on a second. I'm going to talk to our producer. John, is that the view you want on that camera? I think where you're looking at there is a street light. I don't believe I think that's a street light. We're not seeing. Yeah, I think that's a street light. Okay, cool. But I do want to swing that camera around because I want to see what's going on. Okay, let's see what's going on.
And Gary, while you're doing that, I just want to update folks. We got a brand new severe thunderstorm warning. These warnings are for our more southern counties, Bladen, Columbus, Dillon, Horry, Marion, Robinson. So that includes some South Carolina counties. That warning, it goes until 8:45. Those are for storms coming out of Robinson and Cumberland County. We also have a new warning for eastern Cumberland and Sampson County. That warning goes until, I assume, 8:45 as well. So that would impact Clinton, Eastover, Grays Creek, and the Mingo area. So definitely a nasty line continuing to move through as we're tracking tracking these storms. In the box below us, you're seeing our station camera here in Midtown Raleigh along Atlantic Avenue, where we took a couple of power hits and possibly a transformer or power line blew or something. We'll get more information on that from the appropriate sources. But yeah, nasty evening there.
Yeah, and Vernon, I swung the camera back around. We're looking northward toward Atlantic Avenue. Number one, the rain is coming down, and the lightning is basically nonstop. Hearing those rumbles of thunder, and our studios are padded to absorb sound so we don't have echoes when we're in this large room on the air. Well, guess what? Even through that padding, we're hearing these rumbles of thunder right now, and that lightning is just constant. But again, like Vernon mentioned, we've got a line of strong to severe storms. We've got all those warnings that are in play right now. We've got a report out of Ahama of a 12-foot tree branch down that hit a house, so foot in diameter, hit a house. That is definitely not good. Also, 50 mile per hour wind, 50 knot wind gust reported at the Fayetteville Regional Airport. So that equates to about 55, 60 mile per hour wind gust. So yeah, this line of storms still means business. And overall, the lightning has increased a bit. Now it's kind of holding steady as it comes across parts of Wake County and into parts of northern Harnett County as well.
And just a reminder, folks, these storms, they mean business. And even though you may not see it, the worst of it in your area, where you may get your power from, it may get hit, that area. And we're seeing that in areas for Orange County, now close to 3,000 without power. For Wake County, 4,000 without power. Harnett County, close to 2,000. And down in Scotland County, close to 2,000 as well. Moore County, just above 5,000 without power. And Lee County, the worst, nearly 7,000 without power in Lee County. So that's why we said all morning and afternoon. Yeah, Lee in the morning, me in the afternoon, even though I'm still here. Charge your electronic devices while you have power in the event your power goes out as these storms move through. Make sure to plug it into a surge protector to protect those devices as well. But that's a really big reminder for folks in eastern North Carolina. I know you, if you're east of I-95, you're saying, hey, where are these storms? Trust me, they're on the way. Take the time now to power anything you're going to need for later on. And it may be a while before that power is restored for some areas. So you need to make sure that the battery's charged long enough so it can last into the morning if you need it. As we got a...
It's just a continuation. Though Durham County did get pulled out of the severe thunderstorm warning, which is very good. But Vernon, we got a report of a tree down on a car and a truck at Knight Road and Pittman Road in Broadway, in western Harnett County. Right now, no reports of injuries. So that is good news there. But again, just multiple problems with these storms as we're going into the evening hours of your Monday. We're talking heavy rain. You can clearly see that on our roof camera here, the rain just coming down. We've got all the cloud to ground lightning. You can see that on Storm Tracker Doppler radar. What you can't see is the winds that we're dealing with right now. And again, those winds, you know, we've had a report out of Fayetteville, 56 mile per hour wind gust within the last hour or so as these storms have made their way across the region. So, you know, the danger is not over with for many of us yet. The good news is once that line of storms crosses and moves out of your area, that's it. It's all said and done with. You can put a fork in this event and call it done. The problem is we're still dealing with the storms from roughly just west of I-95 into the coastal plain. The question is, how will these storms react as we work our way into the evening hours? Will they weaken as they push into the coastal plain, as some of the models suggest? Are they going to hold together and continue to make their way eastward over time, still causing problems as we continue into the evening hours? I'm going to pull back up Storm Tracker Doppler radar because I was just noticing, by the way, camera view, we're still on 540 here? Okay, still on 540. 64, okay, so we're on 64 here. Heading toward Cary on 64. So again, wet roadways, you know, a lot of traffic. Headlights on. Remember, that is a North Carolina state law. If your windshield wipers are on, state law requires you to have your headlights on. I know a lot of cars these days, it happens automatically. It's funny, Vernon, I actually changed the windshield wipers on my car yesterday. The last time I changed the windshield wipers on my car was before IAISA about 3 years ago. So
So it's your fault.
You can blame this
All
on
right.
me.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about it. I wonder how well they work.
If you see Gary at the store changing his windshield wipers, make sure to stay home.
Can't do that.
Yeah.
Storm tracker Doppler radar. Let's put it into motion for you. Let's go full screen on this real fast if we can, Dylan. Thank you. Noticing one thing on the radar, we kind of got a split in the storm line right now. Heavy round of storms in Wake County, and then it lessens up a little bit as we drop into the northern Sandhills, and then we get down to Robeson County, and we end up with additional lightning increasing as we've seen some storms merge together. So now the question is, how will these storms react? Will that area in the northern Sandhills start weakening as it continues to push into the coastal plain, or will it re-intensify as we go through time? But bottom line, if you're in parts of the Triangle area, especially Wake County, Johnston County, Franklin County, nasty storms coming through right now. You're under a severe thunderstorm warning until the top of the hour, and parts of the Sandhills, eastern Harnett County, over into Cumberland County, Sampson County, you're under warnings at this time. Then we drop toward the southern Sandhills, Robeson County, now Bladen County, and Columbus County also under severe thunderstorm warnings. So again, we're just going to have to see how this line plays out as it continues to make its way eastward over time. I think it is positive that we are seeing some weakening in the line. We're not looking at a solid north to south line right now. Problem is, though, southern Sandhills, Vernon looks rough there.
Yeah.
Of course, here in Wake County, where we're hearing thunder basically nonstop, kind of rough here too as well.
All right, we're going to look at our high resolution model real quick on Max 3, and then we're going to talk over some video we have out of Alexander County. So we're going to give you the forecast for the rest of the eastern half of the state. I know for the folks in coastal plains and Wilmington, you're saying, hey, when will those storms get there? Well, we'll continue to watch this line move east. High res is still showing a rather robust line through the 9 and 10 o'clock hour, which I wouldn't be surprised to still deal with, obviously, some severe warned storms as we're really moving into the area that has not been worked over by any storms. You had a lot of heat, you had a lot of humidity, heat indices close to 108 in some locations across the coastal plains, and you're still dealing with a lot of instability, enough there to sustain some storms that could produce some damaging winds. But it looks like these storms will move offshore as we approach midnight. Hopefully earlier than that. If not, we're going to have to get Gary some coffee later on. But right now, Gary, I know we talked about these storms and saying the damage, this is what they can do. But as I've been saying all evening, seeing is believing. Here is the video of the damage these storms have left in Alexander County. This is at the fairgrounds, if I believe. This is the damaging winds that led to damage in and around Alexander County at the fairgrounds there. As I mentioned, that could be damage from a weak EF0 tornado. I mean, that's you can, especially that right there. But that was straight line winds more than likely doing that damage. So that's why we're saying, folks, you need to be inside because these winds are nothing to play around with.
And the thing is, you brought up a good point. You know, it's not our job to determine what kind of damage is caused by what kind of weather event. The National Weather Service will actually send out a survey crew to areas that see damage, and they will indicate if it's straight line winds, if it was a EF0 or EF1 tornado. But bottom line, it doesn't matter what causes damage like that. The damage is done. And it could cause injuries. And I mean, storms can change people's lives. Hopefully we're not seeing any kind of situation like that tonight. But that's why you always have to take weather seriously. I tell people, 99% of the time, weather's something we just have to deal with. It's cold, we turn on the heat. It's hot, we turn on the air conditioner. It's going to rain, we put on the jacket. But 1 to 2, 3% of the time, it can be dangerous. It can be deadly. It can be life-threatening. It can be life-changing. So that's why anytime we have active weather like we've got today, or the potential for active weather, you need to be weather aware just in case that bad storm finds your area. Can we bring up Max 5 right now? I want to go over the severe thunderstorm watch because it has actually been expanded to cover more of eastern North Carolina. This includes parts of the New Bern area, Jacksonville area. This runs until midnight tonight. Now, Person County, you're still under a tornado watch, but I'll be honest with you, Person County, you're going to be cleared from that really soon because, you got a couple of sprinkles and that's about it. So again, this is the main concern right now, and I will take away that this is a positive. We didn't see the Storm Prediction Center issue a tornado watch. They issued a severe thunderstorm watch. So they too were expecting and are expecting the storms to weaken a little bit as we continue to make our way through the evening hours. So again, that is positive, but there's a pretty much all of central North Carolina, with the exception in the central North Carolina viewing area of Person County, and northeastern North Carolina not in the watch as well, but everybody else is in this severe thunderstorm watch that runs until midnight. And like Vernon said, hopefully by the time we get to 11, 12 o'clock, this event is over with. Things are settling down. We're seeing calm weather through the late night hours to get a good night's sleep. But until we get this line of storms through your area, again, take it very seriously. Keep inside until the storms have passed you by. And even if you have to go somewhere later this evening, remember, there's a lot of junk on the roads. We're talking storms that have produced a lot of wind, so there's debris on the roads. There's a possibility of power lines on the roads. So, yeah, please keep in mind that even later this evening, you got rain on the road, but you also have the possibility of debris on the road as well. It's nighttime, you can't see it, so please keep that in mind. Yes, sir.
And a possible update from what we showed you earlier with our power flash. Power pole and power line reported down at 4400 Wake Forest Road in Raleigh, not too far away from our area. I mean, that was possibly more on Hodges Street, but it shows that, yes, we do have damage in and around here in Midtown Raleigh with power lines. So what we saw earlier may have been another proponent of that. So we're watching that. Also, another report coming in out of Wake County, this time out of Holly Springs, tree blocking a portion of Bass Lake Road in Holly Springs near Gooseberry Road there. So as you mentioned, there's junk on the roads. You don't need to go out. Let first responders clear the roads. Let them address any power lines down. Meantime, you just sit inside, be comfortable, and allow these storms to pass by. We're already seeing that weather really dramatically calm down for areas like an Orange and Durham and Chatham County. Still pretty nasty for Raleigh and the eastern half of Wake County. But eventually, once that main line moves through, yes, you still deal with some rainfall. But as far as the destructive winds, the lightning, and the heaviest rainfall, that's moving to your east, and we just got a brand new severe thunderstorm warning.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we've got a new severe thunderstorm warning that is in play right now, and it is in effect until 9 o'clock tonight, and it is in effect for Edgecombe County, Franklin County, Halifax County, Johnston County, Nash County, Wake County, Wilson County, and Wayne County. Still a possible tornado tag on this. 60-mile-per-hour winds possible with this storm as well. Let's see what the speed is. My guess is it's moving east at about 50 miles per hour.
Yep, right.
Moving east at 50 miles per hour. That's kind of a no-brainer right there. I will say this, getting back to that storm report, that's interesting to see, because you know what could have happened is if a pole came down, it could have pulled those lines farther down the block and caused some issues as well. I mean, it's kind of like a domino effect right there. Again, some positive in this line, that parts of the line looks like it's weakening. The other negative on the line is that some of these segments of this line of storms still producing a tremendous amount of cloud to ground lightning, perhaps producing a lot of strong gusty winds. I will say this, it is a little positive to see the warning that we saw earlier was saying 60-mile-per-hour winds. The warning farther east has winds at 60 miles per hour. So that's indicating that the Weather Service Doppler radar is saying, okay, the winds are still classified as severe with this storm, but they're not as strong as they were earlier. So I'm taking that as a positive. But yeah, looking at this and looking all down the I-95 corridor, every single county with the exception of Northampton County, and it looks like Warren County may not be in it. Yeah, all those counties under severe thunderstorm warnings at the present time. Vernon, I'm gonna let you take it away for a minute because I have to let our producer know what we're doing.
Okay, and we just got a new update. They're continuing the severe thunderstorm watch for Cumberland, Edgecombe, Franklin, Granville, Halifax, Harnett, Johnson, Nash, Sampson, Vic, pretty much the majority of our area there. Right now, you're looking at Storm Tracker Doppler radar. We're going to put a wide track on this as it continues to move east. Just give you an idea of what's going to happen over the next hour or two. So for folks in Elizabethtown, you're dry right now. That's going to change for you shortly, right around 8:10. Let's say that some of the heaviest rain moving into your area. For folks over in Wilson, not only the city of Wilson, but Wilson County, that heavy rainfall right on your doorstep. That's going to be right on top of downtown Wilson. Give it about 15, 20 minutes. Tarboro, not too far away from Rocky Mount, right around 8:30, 8:40 for you. Kinston, near the Greenville area, right around just before 9 o'clock. For folks in Jacksonville, you may see this right right around 9:20. So that's giving you ample lead time before these possible strong or severe storms, by the time they reach your area, moves through. We'll still be looking at a strong to damaging wind threat by that time, but hopefully we'll continue to see that ceiling with these winds continue to decrease, as Gary mentioned earlier, rather than 70-mile-an-hour winds, 60-mile-an-hour winds. We'll like to see that trend down.
Hard to believe that we're seeing 60-mile-per-hour winds are better than 70-mile-per-hour winds, but in the grand scheme of things, it is.
It's all relative.
It is.
Yeah.
Just to let everybody know, and to let you know, my friend, we're going to keep going until 8:08. Want to make sure this line of storms again continues to weaken a little bit, doesn't re-strengthen as we go from north to south. But even when we come out of wall-to-wall coverage, we are going to continue with live weather updates every 10 minutes. And if we need to jump back in to wall-to-wall extended coverage, we will. Today was kind of the exception to the rule. Generally, we do not go wall-to-wall for severe thunderstorms. But here's the deal. This was a line of severe thunderstorms that was basically impacting the length of the viewing area. We were getting significant damage reports west of the storms as they moved through. Not to mention, when we're getting warnings that say possible tornado and the possibility of winds up to 70 miles per hour, we need to stay on to keep you advised of the situation. So hence the reason why we kind of broke our own rules. But, the boss said that when there's bad weather, this is my TV station. So
oh, wow.
I guess I did a mutiny tonight, so I don't know if,
Heads up here. We're going to be watching.
Yeah.
Let's bring up Max 3. We're going to be watching this closely. As Gary mentioned, we're dealing with severe thunderstorm warnings that have a tornado possible tag. I am watching this one just to the south of Smithfield, this area of rotation. I'll get on chat in a minute and ask them about what they're thinking with this. But right now, there's a small little indentation you see. That's where you could see